And I have in the building, in the studio today, my surprise guest, the smart guy is here.
Right. Oh, how you doing? So I know we pressed the time, so I want to jump right into it.
Oh, yeah.
So I have like a couple things I want to talk about.
Okay, right? Let's go.
Very important for us to understand affirmation. So I have a mantra where we talk about, how to manifest. How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. How you think creates how you feel. So we have to be very mindful of the thoughts that we think consciously and subconsciously, right? Also, every thought that you think, your body produces a chemical associated with the thoughts you think. So if you think something positive, your body produces endorphins and dopamines and melatonin that helps you relax, right? If you're thinking negative, your body produces cortisol and adrenaline, which makes you feel like if you ever drove a car, it's like you have your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time, right? You're messing up your body's transmission, right?
Right.
Next thing is we have to be able to do mirror work. Every day in the morning when you wake up, the same way you brush your teeth, you have to be in the mirror and you have to have positive affirmations, right? So you're going to combat your negative thought patterns with now a new positive thought pattern, and then you're going to create a consistent positive thought pattern, and that's going to change your life. So you're going to be in the mirror like, I am enough, I am happy, I am. And you have to say I am, not just I'm happy, because there's no power in that. Everything that you add on to I am becomes added on to you. The next thing is we have to be able to meditate. Meditation is so important because meditation gives us access to our subconscious mind, and that is the only place where we can change our negative thought patterns. Okay. Next thing is understanding our childhood and our adolescence, because who we were or the things we saw as children and those traumas cultivated our self-image of how we view ourselves now as adults. Yes. So through meditation, you can time travel through meditation and have conversations with your younger self, and you can reprogram your subconscious mind through that meditation and being intentional, right? Like you're closing your eyes and you're envisioning your older self getting in a time machine to visit your younger self at your darkest moment, and then you're talking to your younger self and having a conversation with your younger self and saying that it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, you are loved, you are blessed, right? This is not a sprint, this is a marathon, and God works in delayed gratification. And then you start to heal those wounds that are deep in your subconscious mind. The next thing is understanding breathing techniques, right? Taking 3 deep breaths and exhaling through your mouth 4 times. This helps you reset. This helps you, reduce your levels of cortisol and adrenaline when you're feeling pressure, right? So understanding breathing techniques. Also CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. This is the therapy that we have to start having. We have to be intentional because we are being attacked subconsciously. It's a cerebral plantation now, right? It's a subliminal, slavery that's going on. So we have to start to study neuroscience and how our minds work. The next thing is we need to have a reinforcement calendar. So you have to identify the things that motivate you and assign that motivation with objective that you do every single day. So an example, if you go into the gym, you have a playlist, right? You have songs that you listen to pump you up, to motivate you to go to the gym. So you need to have things to pump you up when it's reading a book, when it's studying, when it's meditating, when it's starting that company. You have to have goals, but also have things that motivate you to move towards those goals. So I like to call it a reinforcement calendar, right? So you identify all the things that trigger you, that pump you up, and then you indulge in those things every single day. You do not move without being motivated, because if you move without motivation, then that's just procrastination and stagnation, right? Because your work is empowered by how you feel, right? So if you don't feel optimistic or powerful when you're doing something, then there's no power in what you're doing. Right. So you have to make sure that you pump yourself up before you do anything. You walking the dog, going to work, going to the gym, seeing the family member. You do not move without feeling powerful, because you are powerful, right? So that affirmations in the mirror work is important, because that's the preparation for your day, right? Next thing is understanding prayer. Prayer, you don't pray with your words, you pray with your actions. So the actions you take, that is the prayer, and the answer to your prayer is the results God gives you based upon the actions you take. But God is not going to answer your prayers if your intentions are not pure. Your intentions have to be pure, and your intentions have to be pleasing to God. And if your intentions are not pleasing to God, then you will not receive results based upon the actions you take. That is what they mean by saying faith without work is dead, right? So if you have to have faith, right? The faith is the belief that God is going to give me the results, and the prayer is the action I'm taking, moving towards what I'm expecting God to give me. And the result, which is the answer to the prayer, is the success that I have, but I will not be successful. I will not reach my destination if my intentions are not pure and right. So we have to understand how prayer actually works. And then we have to also understand another thing I want to talk about is community dependency. We got to go back to having town hall meetings. We got to go back to, I know you, you know me, you know my aunt, right? Back in the day, you couldn't curse in front of the neighbors because the neighbors was cool with your moms.
Yes.
Right? And the relationship was so tight with the neighbors that the neighbor had the license to discipline you and whoop your booty, right? Because it was a close-knit community. So we have to go back to community conversations, town hall meetings, knowing your neighbor, building rapport and relationships with the people that live next door to you. That's very important. Community dependency, which is going to set the table for nepotism, right? Where we have to start being beneficiaries of the businesses that we create for the generations to come. We have to create our own nepotism, right? And then I'm gonna go back to time travel, right? You can time travel through meditation. So we can break the generational curses by having conversations through meditation, our older selves talking to our younger selves and reprogramming the minds of our younger selves through meditation. And then now in the present moment, we'll have the subconscious confidence conducive to, being successful and building a nation and building better communities for ourselves. Next thing is RAS, right? Which is reticular activational systems. Reticular activational systems. Back in the day, we played a game called Punch Buggy, or this is my car, that's my car. And when you say it, you start to see more of that car, right?
Right.
That's how RAS works. You see what you look for, but we're conditioned to see things that don't benefit us. So we have to now say, well, okay, I am rich. And then when you go outside, you look for things to validate what you're saying. You see what you look for. So we have to start to study RAS, which is reticular activational systems, and then scripting, right? I'm writing out my script, right? I'm the director, producer, and actor in this movie.
Yes.
And in this movie, I win. This is not a horror movie. This is this is a family movie. This is the Avengers Part 25, and Thanos gets his booty kicked, and I'm Captain America, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Black Panther, all rolled in one. Right? We have to write our life script. And then now the cameras are rolling, right? The cameras are rolling. And then we're living in that role. We're playing that role. We're playing that part that elevates us, right? So learning the power of scripting is so important, right? So then that's my next point is I have a 12-month plan that I think we should, as a culture, should start following. So each is no particular order as of yet, but it will be soon. So month 1 is negative speak fast, where you go 30 days without speaking nothing negative. Okay, no matter what. Okay, how you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. If you only speak positivity, if you only prophesize prosperity over yourself, your family, your community, then those things will come into existence because we have the power by the free will God has given us to bring these things into existence. Our brains produce neuromelanin. So when we say free will, physiology, right? The neuromelanin in our brains, that's the free will God was talking about, because that gives us the ability of alchemy and manifestation. Month 2 would be Black Portfolio Month. We have to start focusing on building delis and getting back to, because delis, corner stores make between $3,000 and $500,000 a month.